Okay, next we're gonna make the back panel. So I'm gonna make a slip knot, and then I'm gonna make 74 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm gonna keep making the change, and I will be back when I have 74 chains. Make sure to make your chain loosely. Now I have 74 chains, and then for row 1 gonna be the right side, for an odd number row gonna be the right side, and for an even number row gonna be the wrong side. Okay, row 1 is the right side. So I'm gonna skip the first chain and make half double crochet into the second chain from the hook right here. Okay, so I yarn over, skip the first chain, insert the hook into the next chain, which is the second chain from the hook. But I always like to go into the little bump on the back of the chain here, this right here. Okay, and you also can go into the normal chain as well, whatever you prefer. So after I insert the hook, I pull up a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook. I yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. That is the first half double crochet. And then I'm gonna make half double crochet into each chain across. So I yarn over my hook, insert the hook into the next chain. Again, I like to go into the little bump on the back of the chain here. Like that. Insert the hook, pull up a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook. I yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Like that. Just repeat that. Yarn over, insert the hook into the next chain. Again, I go into the little bump on the back of the next chain here. Like that. And then pull up a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook. I yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Like that. Just repeat that. Yarn over, insert the hook into the next chain. And I always gonna go into the little bump on the back of the chain here. Insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Okay, just repeat that. Yarn over, insert the hook into the next chain. And I go into the little bump on the back of the next chain. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Like that. Yarn over, insert the hook into the next chain. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all the loops on the hook. Yarn over, insert the hook into the next chain. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Like that. So you're just gonna make 1 half double crochet into each chain across. Okay, and like I said, I always gonna go into the little bump on the back of the chain here. Okay, and you also can go into the normal chain as well, whatever you prefer. And the reason I like to go into the little bump on the back of the chain is give me very nice edge at the bottom here. Alright, yeah, keep making 1 half double crochet into each chain across, and I will be back when I reach the end of row 1. I'm at the end of row 1 and I have 73 half double crochet stitches across. Here's what it looks like. Okay, and then for row 2, we're gonna chain 1 and turn, or you can turn first and chain, doesn't matter. And then the chain 1 here never count as a stitch. Okay, and then we're gonna make 1 half double crochet into each stitch across. So I yarn over my hook, insert the hook into the first stitch here, right here. Pull up a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. And then yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Just repeat that. Yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Repeat that. Yarn over, insert the hook into next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Just keep repeating that. Okay, make 1 half double crochet into each stitch across. Here's what it looks like so far on row 2, and I will be back when I reach the end of row 2. I'm at the end of row 2 and I have the same 73 half double crochet stitches across. Make sure to count your stitches so you not increase or decrease by accident. And then for row 3 to row 41, I'm gonna repeat row 2, everything the same. Okay, I'm gonna show you a few more stitches. It's very easy pattern. So yeah, repeat row 2. We're gonna chain 1 and turn, or you can turn first and chain, doesn't matter. And then the chain 1 never count as a stitch. Okay, and this is row 3. Like I said, just repeat row 2. Make 1/2 double crochet into each stitch across. So after I chain 1 and turn, I yarn over my hook, insert the hook into the first stitch, pull up a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook. I yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. That is the first half double crochet on row 3. Repeat that, yarn over, insert the hook into next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Like that. See, we're just repeating row 2. Just make half double crochet into each stitch across. It's very easy. Like that. Just half double crochet. Oops. Okay, here's what it looks like so far. Alright, just half double crochet. Very easy pattern. Like that. Okay, so yeah, just keep repeating row 2. And then when you reach the end of row 3, don't forget to count your stitches. Every row you're gonna have the same amount of the stitches that you have on row 1. Okay, so for size small, I have 73 half double crochet stitches. So every row from now on, I'm gonna have the same amount of these stitches, 73. All right, and yeah, like I said, row 3 to row 41, I'm gonna repeat row 2, and then I will be back when I have 41 rows. Take your time, count your stitches. Good luck, and I will be back. Okay, now I repeat row 2 until I have 41 rows. This is the end of row 41. Okay, and then next, I just gonna cut the yarn. I just gonna leave a little bit of tail, just enough to weaving the end later. You don't need to leave a long tail for the back panel. Okay, after I cut the yarn, I'm gonna pull the yarn out like that, and I'm done with the back panel. Here's what it looks like. So from row 1 here all the way up here, I have 41 rows. Okay, and then next we're gonna make the sleeve. Okay, for the sleeve we're gonna make 2 exactly the same, and I already make 1 here. And then the chain, when you start, it's gonna be the width around your arm. Okay, so here I make the chain here. It's gonna go around my arm like that. Okay, and if you want smaller sleeve, you can make less chain. And if you want bigger sleeve, you can add more chains. Okay, and then the row that you make gonna be the length of your sleeve. And I will tell you exactly how many chains and how many rows that I made. And if you want longer sleeve, feel free to add more rows. And if you want shorter sleeve, make less row. It's very easy. Okay, so yeah, make 2 exactly the same. Gonna move this to the side, and then bring your yarn and make a slip knot. Okay, for me, for size small, I'm gonna make 51 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep making the change, and I will be back when I have 51 chains. Make sure to make your chain loosely. Okay, now I have 51 chains. And then for row 1 gonna be the right side, for an odd number row gonna be the right side, and for an even number row gonna be the wrong side. So row 1 is the right side. I'm gonna make half double crochet into the second chain from the hook. Okay, skip the first chain. And I always like to go into the little bump on the back of the chain. So I yarn over, I skip the first chain, insert the hook into the next, and I go into the little bump on the back of the next here. Insert the hook, pull up a loop, 3 loops on my hook, I yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. That is my first half double crochet on row 1, and then we're gonna make half double crochet into each stitch across. So I yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch, I go into the little bump again. Sorry, next chain, okay? I go into the little bump of the next chain. And then pull up a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook. I yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. And then repeat that, yarn over, insert the hook into the next chain. Again, I go into the little bump on the back of the next chain here. And then pull up a loop. 3 loops on my hook. I yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Repeat that, yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch. Pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Just keep making half double crochet into each chain across. And you also can go into the normal chain stitch as well, whatever you prefer, but I just like to go into the little bump on the back of the chain. It's give me a very nice edge here. Alright, I will be back when I reach the end of row 1. I'm at the end of row 1 here, and I have 50 half double crochet stitches across. And then for row 2, I'm gonna chain 1 and turn, or you can turn first and chain, doesn't matter. And then the chain 1 never count as a stitch. And then we're gonna make half double crochet into each stitch across. So I yarn over, insert the hook into the first stitch, pull up a loop, and make half double crochet, and then half double crochet into the next, and then half double crochet into the next, half double crochet into the next, like that. Just keep making half double crochet into each stitch, and I will be back when I reach the end of row 2. I'm at the end of row 2, and I have the same 50 half double crochet stitches across. And then for row 3 to row 29, I'm gonna repeat row 2. And every row you should have the same amount of these stitches. So for me, for size small, I'm gonna have 50 stitches, okay, always. And yeah, like I said, just repeat row 2, but I'm gonna show you a few more stitches. So row 3, repeat row 2, we chain 1 and turn, and make half double crochet into each stitch across. Half double crochet into the next, half double crochet into the next. If you know how to make the back panel, I'm sure you know how to make the sleeve. It's the same pattern, but we just make less chain, that's it. Okay? See, just keep making half double crochet into each stitch. And when you reach the end of row 3, make sure to count your stitches, and then you start row 4, repeat row 2 again. You chain 1 and turn, and make half double crochet into each stitch across, and then chain 1 and turn, and half double crochet into each stitch across. Back and forth like that, just repeating row 2. And yeah, I'm gonna keep repeating row 2 until I have 29 rows, and I will be back. Don't cut the yarn yet, okay? Good luck. Okay, now I'm repeating row 2 until I have 29 rows. This is the end of row 29, and like I said, if you want longer sleeve, just keep repeating row 2, okay? And if you want shorter, you just make less row. Okay, for me, I'm good with 29 rows. Here's what this looks like. And then next, I'm gonna cut the yarn and leave about 30 to 40 inches long tail. Just enough to sew the sleeve into the front and the back panel. Okay, so I cut the yarn here. And then After I cut the yarn, I'm gonna pull the yarn out like that, and I'm done with the sleeve. And like I said, you need 2 of this, and after you have 2 sleeves, we're gonna sew all the panels together. Okay, next we're gonna sew the front panel into the back panel at the shoulder here. Okay, make sure you turn the right side down and wrong side up. So now the back panel and the front panel is wrong side facing up, and we're gonna sew on the wrong side. Okay, here is the front panel, and let me show you in the paper too, just in case. So here is the front, here's the front. It's laid like this right now. Put right here. And here is the back, here is the back, and lay like this right now. And we're gonna sew at the shoulder. Okay, all right. And you can use any method you prefer. I use my yarn needle for sewing. And remember, at the end of row 41 for the front panel, I have 22 half double crochet here, and then I count the stitch at the back panel. I count from here until I have 22 stitches, and then I place the stitch marker into the 22nd stitch. I place the marker there and then place the marker into the last stitch of the front panel. So 22 stitches on the back, 22 stitches on the front, like that, and we will sew them together. Same at this side. I count the stitches on the back panel until I have 22 stitches. I place the stitch marker into the 22nd stitch, and also place into the last stitch of the front panel. So 22 stitches there, and then 22 stitches here. All right, and yeah, let's get sewing. Let me zoom in real quick. Okay, I already have my yarn needle ready to go, and I used the long tail that I left earlier for sewing. See, this long tail comes from the front panel here. Okay, and then first I'm gonna bring the back panel up, and then I'm gonna insert my yarn needle into the first stitch of the back panel, one loop only, which is the front loop. I call that front loop. Okay, that is front loop of the first stitch of the back panel, and then I come out, insert back in, into the second stitch of the back panel, front loop only. I call that front loop, like that. And then come back to the front panel. I also gonna insert into the front loop only of the front panel, that I call that front loop, and then insert back in into the second stitch, front loop only, like that. And then go to the back panel, insert into the second stitch, front loop only, and then insert back in to the third stitch, front loop only, and then come to the front, insert into the second stitch here, front loop only, insert back in into the third stitch, front loop only, and then go to the back panel. If you're having a hard time to see the stitches, you turn this way a little bit so you can see this V here. Okay. Okay, so I insert the needle into the third stitch of the back panel, front loop only, insert back in into the fourth stitch, front loop only. Always it's just gonna be the front loop, and then bring it out, and then come to the front panel, insert into the third stitch here, insert back in into the 4th stitch, front loop only, like that. And then go to the back panel, insert into the 4th stitch, come out into the 5th stitch, front loop only. Okay, come to the front panel, insert into the 4th stitch, and then insert back in into the 5th stitch, front loop only, like that. And then go into the back panel, insert into the 5th stitch, insert back in into the 6th stitch, front loop only, like that. And then come to the front, insert into the 5th stitch, insert back in into the 6th stitch, front loop only, like that. Okay, I just gonna sew like this. And like I said, you can use any method you prefer, and make sure you don't sew too tight or too loose. All right, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep sewing until I reach the end here, which is the stitch marker. And here is what the wrong side look like, and here is what the right side look like. That's what I like for sewing. And yeah, use any method you prefer, and I will be back when I reach the stitch marker here. Good luck. Okay, now I sew until I reach the stitch marker here, and then next I just gonna remove the stitch marker. I already sew into that stitch. So remove the stitch marker, and then I just gonna whip the end. So I just gonna insert back here, and then try to hide my tail around here. Maybe tie a knot. I'm just gonna tie a knot here. And then keep hiding my tail. Okay. Okay, just make sure it's secure, and then you're gonna trim the tail and you're done. So this is the wrong side. And here is the right side. It's very beautiful. I love it. I love this method for sewing. Okay, and then next you're gonna sew this side exactly the same, whatever method you use for this side. Okay, I'm gonna use the same method that I use for this side and sew this side. And I'm gonna go ahead and sew this side, and then I will be back. And then after that, we're gonna sew the sleeve into the main panel. Okay, after I sew the shoulder seam here, and here is what it look like. And this is the wrong side, okay? And here is the right side. And I already sew one sleeve here. So here's what it look like after I sew the sleeve into the front and the back panel. Here I sew. This is the wrong side. And here my sleeve. Okay. And here is the right side where I sew the sleeve. Here is the back, here the front. And here is the other sleeve. I already placed these stitch markers, but I haven't sewn yet. I'm gonna show you how you can sew it. Okay, again, this is the wrong side facing up. Also the sleeve wrong side facing up. We're gonna sew on the wrong side. So I'm gonna turn this side. So here is the front panel, here is the back panel, and here my sleeve. And I count the rows of the front panel. I start count from the shoulder seam here. I count until I have 18 rows, and then I place this stitch marker into the row 18th. Okay, and then I count the same 18 rows for the back panel, and then I place this stitch marker into the row 18th, and then I place the stitch marker into the last stitch of the sleeve, and the stitch marker at the middle here I place into the shoulder seam. And then remember, when I make the sleeve I have 50 stitches, so I place the stitch marker into the 25th stitch. Okay, and then place into the at the shoulder here. So whatever you do, you don't have to do like I did here, but make sure it's even. Make sure it's not too tight or too loose. Okay, so here, as you can see, after I place this stitch marker, all even. But make sure whatever the amount of rows that you gonna sew for the front panel, you have to same amount of row of the back panel that you're gonna sew into the sleeve. So that case all that even. Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna use the long tail that I left earlier on my sleeve for sewing, and you can use any method you prefer. Okay, so I'm gonna insert my needle into the stitch marker here, and then I remove this stitch marker and bring the yarn out, and then I'm gonna go into the first stitch of the sleeve again, just to make sure it's tight, and go into the same stitch that I just insert the needle into here. Okay, bring it out, and then I insert into the next stitch of the sleeve and the next stitch of the front panel here. You can tell the normal stitches, but just make sure that even. Okay, that's all important. So I insert into next stitch of the sleeve, and then insert into next stitch around here on the front panel, like that, and then insert into next stitch of the sleeve. I go into both loop, okay, and then insert into the front panel there. See, I cannot see the normal stitches. I just guess where I'm gonna insert the hook. Oh, sorry, insert the needle into. Like that. Make sure don't sew too tight, okay, and not too loose. And insert into next stitch of the sleeve here, and then insert around there of the sleeve, like that. Insert into next stitch of the sleeve, and then next stitch of the front panel around here, like that. That's what I'm gonna sew. Next stitch here, and then next stitch there, like that. Like I said, you can use any method you prefer. That's what I'm just gonna keep sewing, just crochet, sorry, just sewing back and forth. And when I reach this stitch marker, make sure that this stitch that we place this stitch marker on the sleeve, and then that stitch that we place this stitch marker on the main panel is we're gonna sew those stitches together, so let's make it even. Okay, so here is the wrong side and here is the right side. All right, yeah, it's just gonna keep sewing. Take your time. I will sew until I reach the end here, and I will be back. Good luck. Okay, now I sew the sleeve all the way till I reach the end here, and I already removed the stitch marker. And then next, I just gonna hide the tail. So just insert the needle back in, back here, and then I'm just gonna tie a knot. and then keep hiding the tail. Just keep hiding your tail and make sure it's secure, and then you trim the tail and you're done with the sleeve. And next we're gonna sew this sweater together at the side seam and then on the sleeve. Okay, next we're gonna sew the side seam and then the sleeve at the bottom. Okay, so to do that you need to fold your sweater in half with the right side facing each other. So now my front panel and my back panel I folded in half with the right side facing each other, and we're gonna sew on the wrong side. Okay, so this is the back panel. Okay, this is the front panel. We already sew here, right? And then this is the sleeve, and then this is the sleeve. We already sew here as well. And then after that we will fold it in half like this. Okay, we fold the right side facing each other. Okay, and also the sleeve, it'll look like this. Okay, this is what my sweater look like right now, but it's just so big. I just want to make sure you understand what I'm doing here. Okay, so here your work will look like this, and then next you're gonna cut a new strand of yarn long enough to sew the side seam and then the sleeve at the bottom here. So I cut about 60 inches long. Make sure you have enough. You have extra better than you don't have enough. Okay, so after you cut the new yarn, we're gonna sew the side seam here all the way up till we reach the armpit, and then we're gonna continue sewing the sleeve at the bottom here all the way down till we reach the end, and then we're gonna hide the tail, and that's it. And we're gonna sew on the wrong side. Okay, and then this side we're gonna sew exactly the same, and you can use any method you prefer for sewing. All right, and I have one side sewn here. I already sewed this side because both sides sew the same. Here is what it looks like after I sew. This is the wrong side. Okay, and here is the sleeve here. This is the wrong side, and here is the right side. See, the right side. Okay, here's what this look like. This the wrong side. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to sew on this side. I haven't sewed it yet, so I turn this way. It's very easy, just sew back and forth. And I already have new strand of yarn here. I cut and then I insert into my yarn needle already. And like I said, you can use any method you prefer. I'm gonna start sewing at the bottom here, the front and back panel together. I insert my needle into the front panel and then insert into the back panel at the corner into the very first stitch there. Just so, and then go into next stitch here and then next stitch there. You cannot see the normal stitches. You cannot guess where you're gonna insert your needle into, but whatever you do, just make sure it's even. Okay, and then I insert into next stitch of the front panel, next stitch of the back panel, like that. Bring it out. And then insert into next stitch here, the front panel, and then next stitch there, the back panel, like that. Bring it out. That's what I'm gonna sew back and forth, back and forth. Okay, next stitch here, the front panel, and then next stitch there, the back panel, like that. Make sure you don't sew it too tight or too loose. So next stitch I go around here, around there, like that. Okay, so yeah, make sure it's even. Make sure the end of like row 1 on the back panel, the end of row 1 of the front panel is lining up. Make sure it's even. That's all that matter. And make sure not to not sew too tight or too loose. Okay, I'm pretty sure you know how to do this, just very easy. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep sewing all the way up until I reach the armpit here. Okay, and make sure the back corner and the front corner is lining up for the armpit. And then after that, I'm gonna continue sew the sleeve here all the way until I reach the end, and then I will be back. Okay, good luck, take your time and use any method you prefer. I will be back. Okay, now after I sew the side seam and then the sleeve here, and then I reach the end here. So next I just gonna hide the tail. I just gonna insert my needle back here and then just insert back just to hide the tail like that. And I'm gonna hide this tail as well, and then I'm gonna tie a knot, and yeah, make sure it's secure and keep hiding your tail, and then you're done. And also you're gonna hide this tail as well, and also the tail in the middle here, whatever tail you have, just hiding all your tail and you're done. Yay, it's very nice. And I'm just gonna turn the right side out. Yay, and here's what this look like. Beautiful. This is the right side. Okay, here is the right side where we just sew the side seam, and here's where we just sew the sleeve. I need to whip the ends. And here the shoulder that we sew just on the right side, and here the other side. Beautiful, I love it. I hope you do too. And yeah, congratulations, you just create a very cute sweater here. If you enjoy making this project, please give this video a thumb up and subscribe to my channel. And if you think this video is helpful, please share to your friends. I will appreciate that so much. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you next video. Bye bye.